What's good, YouTube? Welcome to the channel. Today we got Fun Mom TV. She's always cleaning on the go, so I had to hire somebody to help her clean so I can get a few minutes of her time. Welcome to the channel today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
The reason why I wanted to have you on the channel today was because I wanted some insight on two different topics. In today's discussion talks about the morals of dating, being raised right, and the fact that we've been having a decline in Black love. How can we change that?
I guess kind of just educating your children on what love looks like. I know a lot of times in the Black culture, they don't like to, I don't know, discuss relationships. I think that if I had a background in relationship information, that I would have made better decisions with my friendships, relationships, workships, and all of that. So I think it's important if we start young and just start teaching kids that really young, so
Mhm.
that they can have a better future.
Most definitely. I think that is something that we do lack. We don't sit down and discuss with our kids the dating process and how to look and how to build yourself for marriage. We just say, go get an education. Don't just go out, have sex with X, Y, and Z. Wait till marriage. We don't actually sit down and teach them, okay, you're going to school, you're getting this degree to build yourself up. And as you're looking for a potential spouse, you want somebody to match your energy. And another good thing you said is friends. You want to make sure that the network that you are building around you is going to help bring you up and y'all all coming up together. And sometimes you got to cut loose some people. And other times you got to meet new people to bring in to the circle so that everybody can grow. But even there are people who've been raised right and still wrong, people who've been raised wrong and do right. So you have to have a discerning of the spirit in order to perceive and move.
I agree with you completely on that. Discernment is important as well. I agree. Because I know I was raised right, but I made some crazy decisions when it came to friendships and relationships.
Tell
And
me,
I simply didn't know. Simply not knowing can be dangerous. So I agree with that completely.
very, very dangerous. Even I look back at my relationship and I think, you know what, wow, maybe I shouldn't have been friends with this person. I'm glad you did mention that. When you do enter a relationship, you have to have boundaries with your friends because otherwise people will overdo it. You want to touch on that or you want me to keep going for a minute?
I'll touch on that because that struck a nerve right there. That is so true. You definitely have to have boundaries. I was the one who had to learn about that the hard way. And I opened up like a book to certain people when they didn't deserve that information. And they went out and they shared it. They turned it into something that it wasn't. They misconstrued my terminology. It was something, and it ended up costing me a very good opportunity. So I agree. Everybody don't deserve your friendship.
Allegation. Right, number 44, that is allegation. That is a false. I had to learn that too myself with my friends. Like I had to learn to cut back, especially with female friends, because people do love to misconstrue things. And it's like, hold up, how did it go from we went out, we went out to hang out at Starbucks to we went to Starbucks and then Netflix and chill? Like you took that way out of context. Like, hold up, I gotta cut you. You are the weakest link. Um, like I remember I had a friend, I had to tell her like there's a certain level that you have to go through, for example. And I told her, I said, you if you know when you're dating and you know that person is going to be your potential spouse, people say, well, that's not your husband, that's not your wife. And that's what's wrong. We don't date with an end goal, and you have to let people know, okay, if you call me past 7 to 8 o'clock, my wife is going to answer the phone if it's a female. Now, if it's past 8 o'clock, your life better be in danger. If you a man, you ain't calling my wife home. Hello. Uh And one friend I had to end up letting her know, like, hey, if you need me for something, take the proper steps to, connect with my lady. If we're all friends, you should have no problem going through her. I apologize about the background noise. Give me 1 second.
It's okay.
You can still hear me clearly?
Oh, yes.
Okay, okay. I had to let her know, like, hey, all it takes is a simple phone call, text. She said, what are you, the FBI? You the president? I said, yes. In her eyes, I'm the most valuable person. You have to go
Amen.
through the clearance process. College days. That, and when you do confide in somebody, you want to confide in somebody that's been proven to have a solid relationship, not somebody who just go from relationship to relationship, because then it also brings stress into your life. Like, I'm on here right now live with you. You hear this background, this noise? They come in creating all this noise in the background. You're like, how did one conversation get blown out of epic proportion? It just made no sense. And sometimes you just sit back, you laughing, or you looking at it like, you can't make this crap up.
Okay. Sorry about that. But yeah, please continue. I heard what you said. Basically, the person didn't respect those boundaries.
And you have to let people know boundaries were there for a reason. There's a reason why we have borders bounding people. There's a reason why we tell people, okay, you can't get this close. The reason why you got to know your role. You don't go into the job, tell your boss, this is how you do the job. That's the easy way to get fired. You might know how to do the job, but you just can't always tell somebody how to do it.
That's so true. Boundaries are important. And I feel like if there was a good friend though, they would kind of know like where not to cross. Like you don't call people late at night because everybody knows certain hours is booty call hours.
Booty call, I was
Everybody know that. Like it's just something that you learn throughout society. You know that late hours are creeping out or club hours. And then most people gotta work in the morning. You know, most people got school in the morning if you're in college. Like people have obligations. So you call at night if it ain't an emergency
they
and
look,
it's just inappropriate. You
they
know,
look. Mm-hmm.
shoot a text first. Make sure, y'all up, you mind if I call,
Say
most
that
people would
again.
do
Say
that.
that again
So
for the
out
new
of
people.
respect. But some people don't respect things like that. So
Mhm.
that would probably be why they would do that. Just, you know, openly like that.
Say that one more time.
Sorry if my phone a little shaky,
Oh
but I
no,
was
I
just saying
heard
like,
you clearly. I wanted them to hear you say
oh,
it again.
okay, no problem. If those are booty call hours. I mean, that's just what it is. That's how it always been. After 10, usually people ain't calling for nothing but intercourse or going out to a club or if it's
Yeah,
an emergency because most people have lives. They have either college or either they work or either they in high school or something. It's either three categories and most people they gotta get up in the morning. They don't be up that late
let me tell
unless
you about those
they
hours. Let me tell you
studying or
hours.
something like that or going to a party. Like that's
Booty
just
call
what it
hours
is.
start at 8 o'clock this year. It started at 8 o'clock. So if your cheeks ain't meant to get clapped, don't call me. I'm married and I do not want to use what I have. So my mentor told me this. He said, "This is what you say to your female friends. Don't send me no pictures. Don't ask nothing out the way. If it involves me, don't ask. If it's something, anything that's sexual, liquor, or clubbing, no." This is what I told. I only had one friend. We used to go out clubbing. I trust her. She trusted me, and I ended up telling her, "Look, I'm kind of right now in a solid situation. I can no longer go clubbing with you." That's what I ended up doing with one of my friends. I ended up hooking them up because my lady was looking at me. She journeyed over here. Because she used to see my messages, I see her messages. So sometimes she would see my messages first because I'm in a college dorm, Wi-Fi crappy. So before I can even read the message, she called on my phone. Why such and such asking you about this? What's going on? And so now I'm on trial, I said, where are these allegations coming from? You seen the messages, you see I respond weird. You had to let them go and hook them up with somebody better. And now, pretty much everybody's just working, 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 working. And it really is inappropriate to just hit people up late at night unless things are going bad. But with that, I ended up having a friend who went through that similar. She said, what if my phone battery is low and you didn't, and your lady doesn't answer the phone? Can I call you? I said, okay. At that time, I said, okay, do I have a car? She was like, no. So the answer, I said, well, why are you calling me at this hour? And she said, wow, that's kind of cruel. I said,
Oh,
no.
something's going on with your audio. Something going on with your audio.
Can you hear me? No. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's just still a little robot-y, and I can't make out like what you're saying fully.
1 second. Can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Just to wrap that story up real quick, you have to let
It's
people know.
still robot-y, unfortunately.
No.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. Maybe the link. I don't know.
Hold up. Let me try to reopen it 1 second. All right. Can you hear me clearly now?
No, I don't know what's happening. It was going so good.
Hold up. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Oh, how do I get out? I don't know.
Hello?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me clearly now?
Oh, yes, perfect.
Okay. What I was saying to wrap that story up, because people will give you excuses of why they want to try to call you, and it's just like, look, if you wanted to do something with me, don't wait till I'm in a serious relationship. You saw me passing through the bakery before I was even in a relationship. When I chose something else, I chose to go with that nice chocolate filled donut that's got some honey on top. Walking out the bakery, don't call me back. Let's say, choose me. You had your chance. I chose not to go. If you when I go to the bed and I'm ready to get some yams and give her the beats, don't call me because she's gonna look at me full and she's gonna terminate me. I don't want to be I don't want to see the Terminator bust down my door. You have been terminated. No. And she pulled out the box from behind the dresser. You thought you were funny. No. But I think that that's something we really do need to work on. Really is establishing boundaries and also being truthful because that's a key element in keeping a relationship strong and healthy is being truthful and knowing, okay, if we're good friends, that means I trust you around my significant other. If you knew you liked him before me, you should have shot your shot. Don't wait till after I shot my shot. And that's what end up tend to happen with people.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I agree. Don't wait until I got somebody now and then try to holler.
I'm
I
not
understand that.
attaching it.
But how would you set boundaries? Because that's something I always wondered. How do you do that successfully? So how would you say you would set those boundaries?
You heard what I had said? You went from looking like fun mom to assassination mom, like you just got rid of
But I
somebody.
said,
Your
look at
eyes
my
just
hair. Look at
had
my
that
hair.
look.
My kids.
Not the kids. The reason I would say that the thing that I did in the past, where one went good and one went bad, I sat them down with my friend, with my wife and my girlfriend at that time. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I said, okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. You feel as a friend that I'm not spending time with you and you feel like we used to be close. Some people feel like, but and you have to let them know, okay, we used to cuddle together or we used to spend a lot of time. I'm now in a committed relationship and I can no longer do the type of stuff that we used to do. And you let them know, like, hey, what we had in the past was good because at the end of the day, if they were really your friend, they will respect that you're in a relationship versus trying to cling and hold on to you. And that's really the ultimate test. They'll say to you, I want somebody that's loyal, but as soon as the opportunity hits when you're in something good, they want to throw it on you. And that's when you have to let them know, look, our friendship was nice while it lasted. You are the weakest link. You have to go. Then, another way, you talk to your partner. You make sure, like, hey, are you comfortable with me being friends with this person? I'm not saying just because you get a boyfriend or a girlfriend and y'all turn into marriage, just throw away everybody. You have to cut loose people who you know are freaky. Simple as that. And you have to let them know, okay, if the two of us used to hang out and do certain things, okay, my wife is coming. But that's also coverage for you. That way, if something does happen, your wife knows without a shadow of a doubt you're not out here doing something. Did I explain that clearly?
Yeah, I agree with that. Trust is important, and I feel you on that.
Hmm. How did you establish boundaries with your friends?
Um, I don't know. Honestly, I never done that. All my friends, they just seem to be respectful. I never really had to say anything. Like, I feel like when you have good friends and y'all really, I don't know, I guess in sync, a lot of the stuff that y'all do, it kind of just falls into place. So I never had to do it, and I always been curious about it because I have to do it in other relationships in my life, not really friendships, but I never done that ever, and I think it's important. But I would say, based off of my research, because I've never done it, I would say just sit down and talk to them as well. I don't know, but I don't really know how to start that conversation because I would definitely be googling some like um like instructions on how to do so or how to start the conversation because I never done it. But I think they're important because I didn't have some people that I ran across that was so disrespectful to my spouse and everything. So I was like, how do you do this?
Most of my experience comes from giving advice to my friends, and I've only ever had to deal with it on maybe about on two different occasions. But I made it very clear that what I have is on lock, and what we had as far as a friendship isn't isn't worth losing what I got. Sometimes you lose friends over that. Other times people say, you know what, I'm gonna stay out your borders because as soon as they know that they come close to your borders, your woman gonna come up. End of the day, that's how it's supposed to be. When you close your borders and somebody tries to infiltrate their borders, your partner is right beside you. They're not just dealing with just you. They dealing with y'all, and that's moving in unison as one. And that's something a lot of people don't want to do nowadays. Moving as one, and you can't just separate it. When you marry, especially when you reach the level of marriage, you becomes as one. Her enemies are your enemies are hers, your problems are hers, bills all together. In order to move as one, you have to be in sync, and you have to let everybody know the when protocol is established, and like, okay, you got your friends, I got my friends, we got this going on, and you got to move efficiently, and don't let chaos come in, because at the end of the day, the thief does come to steal, but you don't have to let him steal. You can repel him.
Amen. Amen. Right on. I agree with you completely on that. That is so important. I feel like I wish me and my husband was more in sync. But we are in some areas, but in some areas we really need to get in sync. And that definitely makes a difference. And the enemy can definitely come in and do things when you don't be in sync in certain areas. So I'm always praying against those type things. So amen to that. Right on.
Let me pull up something real quick. 1 second. I don't think I spoke to you about this. Give me 1 second. Find it on my phone. So this was something that my mentor gave me to help me before I even considered, before me and my wife got married. This was something, a process. It kind of changed how I looked at dating and how I looked at things when it comes to being in sync. He calls it the diamond core. I got it written in different ways. I got it on my phone, her phone, and I got it hanging up at the house. The diamond core revolves religion, time, leadership, communication, health, finance, sex, and trust. And I have it written in different ways and showed this to you. Everything is tied together at the string. For example, do you, for religion, do you have little faith? Do you have a lot of faith? Or are you a firm believer? Another way to look at about it is, if you don't have faith, this is what I tell people, and I say, look, I'm not saying this to you to be mean. I'm gonna just give you the truth. If you don't have religion holding down the fort, your relationship falls because you don't have that extra layer of protection. Because a couple that prays together stay together. It might not always seem that way, but if you don't have that faith and you don't have that time that you put into each other, the time you put into your kids, the time you put into yourself, you can't move efficiently, which also leads into leadership, communication, health, finance, sex, and trust. In trust, you have to trust that your partner has the same faith. You have to trust that your partner puts just as much as time as energy in that relationship, which leads to communication, that leadership, because leadership, this is where I see a lot of people say, I'm not about to submit to no man. I'm not about to break my back for a woman. Guess what? When you get married, there's a level of submission. You submit to each other and you become as one. Submission doesn't mean, okay, I'm about to take you in the room, lay the smack down on your ass. No. It means,
You a trip.
look, I should have pulled the glasses off, smack down. Know your role. Uh, it means that you trust and you reach an understanding with your partner. And behind every powerful man is a woman. And that woman isn't necessarily behind you, she's beside you. Because when you, like I go back to saying, when you move as one, you trust each other. You have to submit. You have to trust that your partner is doing what they're supposed to do. What's your take on submission? Because I feel like, especially in today's society, that word gets taken out of context.
I agree. Well, my fiance mission is I had to learn because I'm an only child. So I
Mm-hmm.
always been independent and to myself. And all I had to listen to was my parents. Okay. I didn't have no relationships like that. Like Zay, my husband now, is like my first serious relationship. So
Mm-hmm.
it was all new to me. And being a Black woman, a strong woman that I am, independent as well, it was hard. But I realized, like, doing it, I looked at it as doing what God told me to do. Like I didn't look at it as like, oh, I got to do this because I'm married. I said I want to please God, so I'm gonna listen to Him. And basically, my husband explained to me, like, and other pastors that I've talked to, that submission was like just letting them take lead and make the final decision as far as the family go and y'all relationship. So I was like, okay. Sometimes that's hard because I feel like, okay, he might not be making the best decision in this area, but you just got to trust him to make the best decision for y'all and the family. And it's hard sometimes,
Oh,
but I love pleasing God and I love doing good things for my husband and my marriage. So that's how I look at it. And sometimes it's hard, but I do it anyway.
he has. Speaking of submission, we get a little spill real quick. That's something I did had a problem with my wife. Is my wife Joy is a go getter. Shout out to Alicia's life journey. She got a giveaway from me. Y'all stay tuned.
Yeah. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, you know the thing about it is with being competitors and doing things. The fact that we're both go getters, like I gave her a story of when I was a little boy. I was about 10 years old. My mom was outside cutting the grass. I walked outside and took the lawnmower from her. Ever since then, my mom has never cut grass again. And I remember one morning early in our marriage, she I was coming home late from work, and that next morning, she wanted the grass cut. So she got up and cut the grass, tried to cut the grass. I woke up and so I said, nobody cut grass in my house but me. I walked outside. I told her, I said, hand it over. That's mine. That's my duty. And like I tell people, it's not necessarily a gender role. It's just certain things about being the head of the house because you want your wife to be delicate. You also want your wife to be strong. And the thing is, like I explained to her at one point, look, if I'm tired and my body's down, you need to have your strength. And I said, that's one thing people got to realize. Pride and submission, when it comes to pride, you can't let pride get in the way because sometimes you might need a little second to heal and your wife do have to step up. But at the same time, you do teach her how to do things. You remind her, hey, listen to the God in me. I listen to the God in you. And you have to make sure that y'all both seek counsel together. You listen to her counsel. She listen to your counsel. Because we as men, we don't always make the best decision. But sometimes we do make best decisions. And y'all heads be all over the place. Sometimes when we do lead, it might not always be the best plan at that time, but we try to make it work. Because at the end of the day, we're here to make sure that at the end of the day, I already know I gotta bust my butt, but I want to come home. I want to see you, and you have to learn to work as a team. And there's nothing wrong with teaching people. Okay, you have this skills, I have this skills. That's a good, because that's a trait. That if something ever does happen, she'll have that knowledge. But as far as it comes to like, okay, changing the car, cutting the grass, all that, I'm like, that's my thing. When we have a son, here, boy, go cut the grass.
Amen, brother. Wow. I am amazed right now, but that's so true. We are emotional. And I think it's best. God knew what he was doing. He knew that it would be best for the man to make the decisions because women are too emotional.
Y'all are too
For
emotional.
facts
Sometimes y'all
that we
can't
are.
decide where y'all want to eat. Like if I'm in Chick-fil-A, no, I want it Moe's. Wait, no, I want Chipotle. Not Chipotle too much. Let me go
Yeah.
I want a salad. Men can literally sit in a room, think about nothing. Like I could be sitting down in here right now, think about nothing. Or she asks me, "How are we gonna do the living room?" Before I'm halfway finishing a single thought, she already got 500 ideas. I said, wait, what? You weren't listening. You weren't paying attention. I was focusing. And part of that is, being a stronger man, being a stronger member is woman is being in sync and growing together because you do have to learn to take advice. You do got to learn to swallow that pride so that way you can provide the best home that you can for your partner. It's
Amen.
always easy to live with a woman, but you'd rather you live with her than somebody else. But my father always told me, he said, if you feel things get heated, drop her off. And you know, I said I love her way too much to let it get to that. I said if I drop her off, I might not ever get her back. So let me keep her.
Amen. I like that. I like that saying. That's all right.
Yeah, you got to. And you know, it's not always an easy thing, but I tell people work it out because we go through so much. But sometimes it's just so nice to just come home to see your wife, see your children, know at the end of the day, it's worth it. It's worth it because she happy wife, happy life. Kids smiling, you smiling, you know, been outside all day, been in the office. You know, the wife been doing her thing. Y'all work together. Your husband come home, see Fun Mom TV. I come home, I see her cooking. I be like, ooh, let me grab me a plate. You know, come home early. You know, someday I'll cook a little meal. She'll pop open about like, okay, what we having to drink, what we eating. But you know, it takes time.
Amen, brother. Amen. Just hearing you talk, bro, you really sound like you supposed to be a counselor.
Look,
For real.
God has blessed me and gave me the knowledge. I just,
Amen.
you know, having people on that I know that's been through things and can speak on things. It's just like that's why I do like this platform because it gives everybody equal opportunity to speak, give their testimony. I say my lot. Sometimes I sit back and I learn and listen. Did you have
Amen.
any last comments you wanted to say for this little for this program? We definitely got to bring you back on the channel.
I would love to come back. I've grown so much just listening to you, brother. Like all the wisdom. I thank God that I was here because you blessed me today. Like a lot. For real.
Next time, y'all continue to watch Fun Mom TV. Y'all watch my channel and definitely
Yes.
don't forget the wife channel, Alicia's Life Journey. And thank y'all for joining us.
Bye.